Hello there, everyone. This is the Cory Bender Show here on BWC Internet Radio. I want to talk about two segments today. I'm going to do. I'm going to break down the Miami Heat, and I'm also going to break down the Oklahoma City Thunder, kind of where they are right now, how their season's been progressing, where I think they'll end up at this season, and look towards the future of both teams. I'm going to start out with the Heat today, and I want to start out by saying, beginning of the year, my prediction was they have a chance at the finals. I didn't think they would win it, but they had a very good chance of winning it. Because when they brought three of the greatest players together, and Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James, you have a chance of winning, any game possible. Um, I really did not think that they would do this good. I don't think. I really thought they had a chance at the second or third spot. So maybe, yeah, I guess they did land where I thought they'd be. But many people were thinking championship right away. And I was one of the people at the beginning of the year that said, okay, let's just calm down. I haven't seen them play yet. We should just wait. You never know how the season could go. I mean, you could judge stuff basing on your roster, but you also have to know how to be able to win a game together, too. And looking at the Heat roster, it's like, okay, we have, three of the greatest players, like I said, but then we have Zydrunas Ilgauskas and Juwan Howard and Mike Miller, who's good. He's more of a streaky shooter. And also, the rest of your bench is a joke. I mean, Eddie House used to be, okay, I guess. You have Udonis Haslem, who always battles injury problems. And then you have Juwan Howard, who's, old and doesn't even contribute, at all. And then Mario Chalmers is just a developing point guard, and I like him and all, but he hasn't been in the league for too long. I think their main problem, though, the Heat, and this is where I'm going to get to in a little bit, actually, as the season progressed, they started off slow. They didn't win as many games. I believe they started 8-9 or 9-8, and so many people were going, "Oh my gosh, the season's such a complete disaster." And then they started winning, and everything was just okay. And all the bandwagon fans were all happy. And then once they went on that 5-game losing streak, sometime around early this month or something in February like that, everyone was just, oh, we're not going to win the finals this year. Our players are crying, man. Eric Spoelstra, our coach, was talking about how we were crying, and then you just all this stupid media stuff that I can't stand. And LeBron and Dwayne Wade are very immature when they do press conferences. I was really shocked by that because usually they keep it okay, but after that whole Crygate, if you want to call it, it was just ridiculous. There's just whole debate about whether players should cry in the middle of the season or not, and it was blown way out of proportion. And my take on it is that you can cry once you lose Game 7 in the NBA Finals or a playoff series, or you get eliminated from the playoffs, or eliminated from playoff contention, whatever. Something that actually means something. Because the regular season, of course it does mean something, because this is the Chapter 1 or Act 1 of the NBA season, to be able to get your seed in the playoffs, and just to be able to show how good you are, and just to get your team ready for the playoffs. It's not completely irrelevant, but it's not the most relevant thing, and people have been blowing it way out of proportion. The whole Crygate situation was just so stupid. Like I said, it was just blown out of proportion. And I lost my train of thought now. Oh yeah. And I also, going through the rest of the year now, they've won 2 games in a row right now, and they've lost a couple of key games. But, I think they look okay. But watching the game versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, oh my goodness, they just looked like they couldn't do good at all. Their main problem, the Miami Heat's main problem, is they don't have any good centers or centers. Only good power forward they have, of course, is Chris Bosh. But he's soft and only wants to take jump shots, and then complains about when he doesn't get the ball in the post. And don't get me wrong here, he's done great in the post in his career with the Raptors, and he hasn't been doing much as late now because he thinks he has a jump shot, which he can hit it, sometimes, or if he's just on a really good night or something like that. But my big men personally, I want my big men, my power forwards and my centers to do the dirty work inside because that's their job. I don't want them to take, mid-range jump shots more than 50% of the time. Unless if you're Dirk Nowitzki, then it's all okay because I know he can hit that shot. And some people say, well, he doesn't even like play in the post that much. He's not that good. Well, Dirk Nowitzki does play in the post, and I'm gonna give Dirk Nowitzki the benefit of the doubt anytime he shoots the ball because I know he can make it. Unlike Chris Bosh, who can maybe get it in, I don't know, 50% of the time. I'm not really sure. Anyway, I want my big men to do the dirty work, and their main center is Zildjian Salgauskas, and he's very old. He doesn't even he kind of is like Chris Bosh. Well, he'll rather just take a mid-range jump shot, which I like having a dual threat in my centers and power forwards. That's always a good thing. But like I said, they need to do the dirty work, and they don't really do it. And then their backups are Joel Anthony, who's old and doesn't really do anything at all, and I believe Jawant Howard, who's also is old and has played for 17 seasons in the NBA, and he's kind of there to be a veteran leader, I guess. Yeah, their main problem is being a center and stuff like that. Just finding that true center who can rebound, play defense, work in the post. Now, Chris Bosh, when he wants to, and when he goes into the post, he does pretty well at it. I've seen it all the time. But he just doesn't want to do it, I guess, and then he likes to complain about it when he doesn't get the ball enough. But that's going to happen when you have LeBron James and Dwayne Wade both on your team. And then the other thing so many of these experts were talking about were they have point guard trouble. They really don't, because I think Mario Chalmers is still developing, and he's good. He's a very streaky shooter, but I would take him. I mean, not as like maybe my starter, but as a backup if I was running a team today. I mean, he's good. I want to develop him. And if they seriously have point guard trouble, just give LeBron the ball or Dwayne Wade to handle the ball. They'd be fine at it. Make him a point guard. I mean, why not? No, there only have to be a shooting guard or a small forward. Who cares? I would definitely let LeBron or Dwayne Wade handle the ball up the court. And most of the time, it's not even that hard to bring the ball up the court. All they do is bring it up to half court, and then they start playing defense. I mean, it's ridiculous about how people don't want LeBron to, handle the ball as a point guard. Why not? He's one of the best. He's a great player. He's a great all-around player. Why not give him the ball? Don't put Mario Chalmers, at his position, but sign some backup small forward, or move Dwayne Wade to the point guard spot, and maybe keep LeBron at the small forward spot, and maybe put Mario Chalmers or Mike Miller at the shooting guard spot, and that'd be just fine, because Dwayne Wade could handle the ball too, and he'll be able to get open shots. I mean, he'll have to distribute the ball more because he would be primarily the point guard, but still, if he's the point guard, he'd run the play right. He'd probably get it right most of the time because he's run that offense for his whole career. And he would be able to distribute the ball pretty evenly, and I think that would work really well. Of course, I'm not an NBA coach, and people aren't gonna take advice from a 16-year-old kid. I would, that's fine. I'm not an expert. I just giving my opinion, and I do play basketball, but I don't play as high of a level, as the NBA. But those are the Heat's main problems. I don't think point guard's a problem at all. Mario Chalmers is still developing. He's gonna be fine. Give him a couple years. He hasn't been in the league that long. Pretty much the Miami Heat, they won't be able to, I believe, win the NBA championship this year because of all these distractions and, crying, and they just have so much pressure on them this year to win it. I don't think they can get it done. They need a better center, and I think they'd be just great. Because if they can get a superstar center or at least a center who will do the dirty work, like I said, they'll be very good. And if they get a little bit on the bench side of things, that'd be great too. Because, LeBron and Dwayne Wade can only play for so long on the court. Because eventually, people do get tired. Now, sure, most of them, the time, they play the entire game. But you need to give them a break once in a while. And then if you want to give them a break, your bench has to produce. And I believe Miami is ranked very low, maybe even the worst bench, points scored. But that's going to happen, like I said, when you have the big three on your team. That's where I believe the Heat kind of stand right now. I believe they won't be able to win championship also because Boston is looking good as usual. They have too many big men to go around. The Bulls in the series with them, I disagree with Ryan on this a lot. I think it'd be a pretty even series. I know, like I said, the regular season isn't totally irrelevant, but still, when it comes to playoff times, these guys, they get a little extra hype in them. They start, they focus a bit more. In a 7-game series with the Bulls and the Heat, that'd be a very tough one. It would be Derrick Rose, versus that big three, of course. But if the big three doesn't score a lot and the Bulls defense, like it has been all year, has been doing very good, that could make for a very interesting series. I really don't know where to pick that one right now as of this moment to win a series for the Eastern Conference Finals. But if Miami's going to go up against Boston, I'll take Boston in 6 or 7. And that's very much of a gift because I think most people would probably say in 5. And at most, like 4 games sweep. And I wouldn't go that far. There's no way LeBron James, Dwayne Wade are going to lose, in a sweep against the Celtics. I just don't see it happening. But anyway, that's where the Heat are in my mind right now. And will it be in the future? I think next year, like I said, gotta get a big man, you can win a title. Because, think about it, the Celtics are aging, and they're aging pretty fast. Ray Allen only has so much left in him. Same thing with Pierce and KG. Their big three is getting older. And I know their bench is good, but, they are very old. Tremaine O'Neal's way past his prime. Same thing with Shaq. Glenn Big Baby Davis is like the only big man on that team that's very, very young. And the rest of that team, I can't really say. I think it's like, I can't even think of most of their bench. But they're a very old team. I think they can win the championship this year, but I'll get to the Celtics for another time. This is where the Heat stand right now and in the future. I want to thank you for listening to this, and coming up here on my show, I'm going to break down the Oklahoma City Thunder and how they could possibly win the title this year, and how I think they could win it next year, depending on some situations that happen in the Western Conference. And that's coming up here in my show, the Cory Bender Show, and thank you for listening. And as usual, just comment and subscribe to Ryan23491 as I do my shows on this channel, and listen to all our podcasts. And I want to get on the Oklahoma City Thunder now. Thank you for listening to this.